let's talk about what we call tangent segments or tangent lines. Now, I know we talked about sine, cosine, tangent before. We're using the same name, tangent. They have nothing to do with each other. Okay, so by coincidence, they're called the same thing. We're not going to be dealing with fractions. Let me explain what a tangent segment is. All right, so let's assume we have a circle. So let's assume that's a circle. And as the tangent segment or tangent line is a segment or a line that touches the circle only once, right? A tangent line is a line that touches the circle only once. So let me do two wrong tangent lines, all right? So intentionally, let me do two wrong ones. That's not a tangent line. The reason why, it doesn't touch the circle at all. This other one is not a tangent line because it touches the circle at 2 points. So a tangent line, it's a line that touches a circle only once. So let me remove these. Let me show you what a tangent line is. It touches the circle only once. And as a matter of fact, I'm gonna come and specify it, and I'll tell you guys, it's a tangent segment, and I will mark the point where it touches the circle. So if you notice, it touches the circle, but it doesn't go inside of the circle. And if I do another tangent line right here, a tangent segment, and let's say it does touch the circle, right? Let's say it touches it there. Now I will have two tangent segments, right? So a segment is part of a line. Let me highlight them in yellow. I have this tangent segment and this other tangent segment. Again, we said before, a segment is we talked about this back in like unit 1. A line segment is part of a line. So it's not the whole line, it's just part of a line. When two tangent segments happen to meet outside of the circle, like it happens in this case, you guys see they meet at this point. When two tangent segments happen to meet outside of the circle, those two segments are equal. Okay, so if I told you one segment is 5, just to say a measurement, the other segment is 5 as well. When two tangent segments meet outside of the circle, those two tangent segments are equal. All right, so how can I use that in question number 13 and 14? Let's take a look. I see this tangent segment and this tangent segment. They both happen to meet outside of the circle. I see one of them is 10.9. So I'm going to say the other one, it's also 10.9. Let me find out the measurement of all my tangent segments. Okay, so I found part of this. I take a look now at this tangent segment with this other tangent segment. One of them is 14. So I'm going to say the other one. Let me write my number in here. This is also 14. Okay, let me erase that. Now, a segment that I cannot solve for right now is this tangent segment with this other tangent segment. I know those two are equal. Unfortunately, I don't know the measurement of either one. So those I cannot work on yet, but I can find this tangent segment. I want you to pay attention that this whole segment right here is 22.6. Right, the whole segment is 22.6, but part of it is 14. So let me subtract that. 22.6 minus 14. So I'm going to say this segment that I highlighted in yellow, let me call that 8.6. Therefore, this other segment is also 8.6. Okay, so let me erase this. I can solve for this part now. I know the whole side is 19.3. Part of it is 8.6. So let me subtract those. 19.3 minus 8.6, and I'm going to find out that this little part right here, it is 10.7. And this other one right here, it obviously is 10.7. So what I wanted to do first, I wanted to find out how big is each tangent segment that I see here. Now I'll go back to my instructions, and it says, find the perimeter of each polygon. All right, a polygon is a figure that all the sides are straight, like rectangles, triangles, right? Figures that have the sides are straight. So like a circle is not a polygon. And I know for the perimeter, I have to add all the sides. So kind of like imagine a yard in a house. That's a polygon because the sides are straight. You know, usually the fences, they tend to be straight. So the perimeter is the distance around the yard. So the fence. I know this whole side right here, it is 19.3, right? It was given to me to begin with. This other side right here, it is 22.6. So I'm looking at the sides of my fence first. I know this other whole fence right here, it is 24.9. You guys are like, well, I added the two tangent segments. You guys might be like, where did that 24.9 came from? 14 plus 10.9. And then on the other side, this side, let me go 10.9 plus 10.7. And that happens to be 21.6. So this segment is 21.6. So I found out, so far, I'm not quite done yet. Remember, to begin with, I find out how big is each tangent segment. The second thing I found out is how big is each side. Now for the perimeter, let me add all the sides. So I'm going to go 24.9 plus 21.6. I'm circling the numbers that I'm adding, plus 19.3 plus 22.6. Because my polygon has 4 sides, I needed to add 4 numbers. If my polygon only has 3 sides, you only have to add 3 numbers. Okay, so I added all my sides. In this case, it happens to be 88.4. So again, let me do a quick recap. I found out how big is each tangent segment. Then I found out how big is each side of my polygon. And to finish, just add the sides of the polygon. All right, so let's take a look at number 14. Let me find out how big is each tangent segment. I see a 7.4, so I'm going to say this one right here, it is also 7.4. I see a 10.7. Let me highlight where I'm looking at. I see that 10.7, and I know these two are equal. So this other tangent segment is also going to be 10.7. Okay. I feel that I can solve for this little segment. 21.4 minus 7.4 is 14. So I'm going to say this little tangent segment is 14, and this other one right here, it is 14 as well. Those two are equal. So I found out how big is each tangent segment. Now let me find out how big is each side. This side right here, it is 21.4. Right? It was given to begin with. This side right here, it is 24.7. I added 14 with 10.7. That's how I got the 24.7. And then here, I'm going to add 7.4 plus 10.7, so that gives me 18.1. Now my polygon only has 3 sides, so for my perimeter, I'm going to add 21.4 plus 18.1 plus 24.7. And I get that my perimeter happens to be 64.2. Let me zoom out. Remember, all I did on each was find out how big is each tangent segment. Then I find out how big is each side. And then lastly, I add the sides of my polygon.